Hello everybody, Mr. Jiggles here, and I got some questions on how I've been building my Necro character. So it took a little time of, refixing, refocusing, and I basically got my Necro to where it was before. I've just been using the 6-piece Rathma set with Captain Crimson, and you use that by stacking Ring of Royal Grandeur in a cube, and then your required piece is the Fate's Vow, which gives you Unconventional Warfare, and then Funerary Pick, which increases your damage on the enemies that you're targeting with Siphon Blood. Now you have the Jessup set, which this weapon's really good. Probably not going to get something like this right off the rip, but I mean, see what happens, whatever. And this stacks with this bracer to stack Army of the Dead damage on your active target for command skeletons. And then you have Crisbins, so you get triple the bonus when enemies are stunned, control pairing effect, stunned, frozen, and some other ones. I don't know, you can look that up. And slowed enemies just give you the standard increased damage. So you want to be stunning or freezing enemies. So I'm going to give you some synergies in my skills. And another kind of big damage piece is the Squirt's Necklace. This damage is extremely noticeable, and when you're invulnerable from one of the other skills that I have equipped, that's going to be helping you in the damage when you need it. Now I stack red gems and strength gems because you need armor on this character. It's supremely weak. It gets one-tapped easily, so you want to be careful with that. I try to help mitigate that with the Captain Crimson set to reduce some of the damage as well, because it gives you like where's it? Essence reduction, and gives you like 20%. So 20% damage reduction is not the best, but there's some other stuff, and this is basically how the set works. So each permanently active minion increases your damage up to 31,000, 31.5k. So each essentially minion, you want to have a lot of minions, basically. That's the point of it. As for gems, nothing really important here. I just have a gizzard in here as to keep my Squirt's Necklace up and so I don't die as much. Gives me some life sustain and gives me a shield as well. And then I just have a Bane of the Powerful 25 and a Enforcer that's 33. I couldn't find a 25 and I didn't feel like re-rolling it. So for the skills, Siphon Blood. With the Power Shift rune, you get an extra percent. You get 10 times 10, you have 100% damage basically increased, and that's better than all of these for the most part. Command Skeletons, Freezing Grass, freezes your enemies, which is going to proc for your Crisbin Sentence, which is important. These other runes are okay, but if you do change this, you're going to have to compensate in some manner by either adding, stun effect or something. You have to add something to get that Crisbins. The revives, I was thinking about changing one of these, but essentially what you're doing is just getting 10 revives and reducing your damage. With this rune, you reduce it by 10%. And with the set, your minions no longer die. They no longer take damage. And I think they no longer expire. Yeah, so you're good on that portion. And Army of the Dead, I'm going to be playing with a couple different runes. I'm going to go as fast as I possibly can with each rune and show you the best speeds I have on going forward. I'm just going to go no rune, and then I'm going to go all the way through and do a run for each. And then I have Land of the Dead. It's kind of like a catch-all that freezes the whole screen. You can essentially swap this out for your golem. There's a lot of different pieces you can essentially tuck in here. You could even go without Captain Crimson and do some other stuff here. You can go the Golem Breachers, or you can go Fate's Vow and do whatever you want. So there's a lot of kind of swapping pieces here that are pretty good. For passives, I have Life on Hit, Grisly Tribute, Life Regeneration, draw life if you get stuck in a big group, dark breathing, which regains essence, which you kind of need, but I mean, siphon blood, I don't know. I just kind of threw this down here. Oh yeah, I could, never mind. There we go. Final service. You're going to use final service here because you're going to get hit a lot, and Rathma shield gives you a 4-second buffer if you're casting Land of the Dead or Army of the Dead. You don't need both of these active at one time, just FYI. If you just come into a sketchy area and you pop Land of the Dead, it might be a little better for you to go through. So let's go to it with our blank Army of the Dead rune. Run 1 level 100 Greater Rift. Also, no Paragon. Fast as possible. Go. So that's the run I just did. 5 minutes basically flat with no rune for Army of the Dead. Next run, changing, Light of the Grasp Head. It says we're using Stone of Jordan. Like, it doesn't matter what elemental rune we use, so just to keep that in mind. Alright, run number 2. No! I was so close! Melted. Goodbye. That was a redemption for this build. Bye. Ah, was it 714? Anyways, 714 for the cold, or the poison rune of Army of the Dead. I don't know why. I think it's because the poison damage confuses me and I run into it thinking it's mine and I die. Anyways, moving on. I feel like I redeemed myself for that build because we had a 12-minute run and we narrowed it down to 7 minutes, which wasn't bad. So Death Valley was the first. This is like the initial video vibes, right, with this build, because this is the one I wanted to test the most. It has the best crowd control effect of all the runes. And I was just thinking that if you can literally walk around and it spams Army of the Dead and it's spamming this rune, you're crowd controlling everything. And that was the effect that I was getting in my first video. And people are saying it's not a nerf. However, I'm saying if you change and force a certain rune of Army of the Dead instead of whatever you want, that is 100% a nerf. And I don't know if it was causing some like extreme bug that was causing it to spam bigger than your 50-yard radius or whatever. Don't know. I don't change the code. I don't alter the code. I don't work at Blizzard, so I would have no idea and understanding that. But to me, all the pieces of gear and stuff are focused around the unconventional warfare rune, and they don't grant you anything else. So, yeah, you can think for yourself, man. I believe in y'all. What do you think? So I just ran a 512 with the Death Valley, which is pretty good. Um, I think the no rune and the Death Valley have been the best so far, so we're going to change to Unconventional Warfare, which is the rune that is essentially granted to you by the Angelic Essence, and then also the rune that you were giving from Fate's Vow. So there's overlap there. And just to show you what that feels like, I'm going to go through and do it anyway. So you want to kill as much as possible. You want to keep spamming your command skeletons when you can to stun enemies and all that stuff. So you can get your summons up. You're not really relying on your minions so much for damage, just for reducing your cooldown stuff. As you move, it does kind of command your skeletons to wherever, some random target. So that's just something to consider there, buddy. See, I'm just running around not casting it, and you see the random spirits that are going around here, right? It's a lot different than the first video. Okay, so that was the unconventional rune, just for testing purposes, blah, blah, blah. And we got a 7-minute. So big difference, 7 minutes and 5 minutes. I mean, there is the occasional bad rift and stuff like that. I feel like that rift was a little tougher, but it is what it is right now. So moving on, gonna go to Frozen Army, try this out, see how this goes. Remember, nothing's really changed other than the greater rifts itself, the maps, some of the groups, the different enemies, and then the only thing I'm changing is the rune for all this. Frozen Army, 441. So that was our best run so far. The last rune is Dead Storm. We're gonna run that really quick, and it is a health cost one, so that might be kind of interesting. I might die a little more, but that's why we got the gizzard. So let's try it. Finally, we have the Dead Storm rune that we tested, and here's the final of that. 527. So, off my memory, I believe that the No Rune, the Death Valley, and Frozen Army, and Dead Storm were the strongest. So, it's more beneficial to utilize these runes. This was conflicting and I had some issues with it. And as far as unconventional warfare goes, it would seem that my calculations are correct when you stack the same rune that you're granted from items and through the essence is not going to give you significant damage or anything to that matter. So anyway, there's Oma testing. So hopefully that answers some questions that y'all had in the comments. Like the video, subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. I do post a lot more stuff than Diablo, so a lot of different games. Anyways, I will catch you on the next video, and peace.